was a fun little dance to start off Monday.
Yeah. It's the week leading up to Memorial Day weekend. Can you even believe it?
I can't. You know what? Last week was 2 weeks before leading up to Memorial Day weekend, and the week before that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What a smart arse. Hey, good morning. It's Curt and Jen in our video/podcast. How are you, Miss Jen?
I'm fine. I was going to tell you I was at a dinner party last night, and we were talking about how it was going to be Memorial Day weekend, and a couple were like, "What? This coming weekend is Memorial Day weekend?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
I'm drinking out of my dream mug just for you.
Oh, that's nice, Curt Cruz.
Well, actually, it's for me. It's my coffee. Nice try.
What do we have coming up on the show today?
A bunch of fun stuff. In fact, we have how many times? Well, this is there's a question and an answer for this. How many times a day would you say that you check your email? You might be surprised by the average overall for most people. And things that you tried once and immediately knew, I don't think so. It wasn't for you.
Yeah, that was our question of the day that was posted on the Curt and Jen in the Morning Facebook page.
We got a lot of responses on that too. A lot.
What's happening to kids scrolling past 10 p.m. on TikTok?
They turn into vampires.
Things you should never reheat in the microwave. And I found a migraine hack according to TikTok, and people say it works.
That's important then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
I want to know what you did this weekend because I haven't talked to you yet. It was a quick little what happened?
Well, if you're asking about the puppies, or puppy rather, so we adopted Matilda. We call her Tilly, and she's actually going in to be spayed today. So bummer. Although we got her the cutest little, you know how I usually put the cone of shame on dogs after they get a.
Yeah.
This is just an inflatable donut, and it actually looks like a pink donut, glazed donut.
How old is Tilly?
4 months now, 4.5 months.
Has she gone through? I thought you're supposed to wait till after they go through their first heat cycle.
There's a lot of information out there, and people say, "Oh, it's too young." Some people say, "Don't get your dog fixed until they're a year old," but it turns out it doesn't really matter. And part of the rule of adopting these dogs from Washington German Shepherd Rescue is that they have to be, first of all, your fee that you pay goes towards them getting spayed or neutered. So, because I thought that as well. It's like, it seems like it was supposed to be like 6 months or something. They said, well, no.
Curt, do you notice my T-shirt, by the way? Mickey Mouse.
It's Mickey. Is it? I can't see. Is he doing see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil?
No, he's just being silly. And I put it on this morning. I'm like, oh yeah, we should mention that it's Disney's 70th anniversary. They had a big media thing. Curt and I used to get to go to Disneyland on the semi-regular.
And
I miss it.
I miss it. I do too. I mean, it was, you say, oh, you've been to Disneyland, a dozen times or whatever. It's fun every single time.
Every time.
Every time.
Anyway, okay, so Tilly was Tilly. She kept you busy. Anything else this weekend, highlight-wise?
Really boring stuff. I mean, I put together a digital photo booth that I wanted to make sure after I purchased it that was going to work for my events coming up. So if you want to go to soundinsight.com, if you need audio, video, or whatever for your upcoming event, we do a pretty good job, I think. So, and I do love the photo booths. By the way, your daughter Riley helps out with our events, and she is our photo booth person, amongst other things. She's very talented in many ways. In fact, she is the one we go to on site. It's like, hey, guess what's not happening? This video is not posting. Riley,
she's very smart. She is.
Yeah. She's the youngin we have on board just for all the technical difficulties with the things that maybe come up with your computers and stuff. So she's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, it was. Other than that, the weekend was pretty much just we actually got some time yesterday, Dana and myself, just to sit back and chill and enjoy each other's company, and that was nice.
Good.
What about you? You. I want to hear, because on Friday we were talking about you got in trouble with the IRS because you were evading your taxes.
I was not evading my taxes, actually. I just had some issues with having a little small business that I started and not knowing how to do everything. And so I did something wrong, not paying my taxes, but long story short, I had to go to the IRS. I went last week. They're by appointment only, except for on Saturday. Then it was this coming Saturday. So I went on Saturday morning, an hour before they opened, waited in line. I was the first one there, thank goodness. And the gal that helped me was awesome, very helpful. She was a little like her disposition was not friendly, but she was
Mm.
very helpful. So that's what counts. And I'm on my way to being a smarter person when it comes to taxes.
And not doing jail time. Okay.
Right.
Uh,
And then I have to tell you, I went to a dinner party that I mentioned a little bit ago on last night, and they were having brisket, right? So I'm like, okay. And I said, well, let me bring something. She's like, you have to bring nothing. I'm like, I can't come empty handed. You know me, Curt.
right.
I'm not coming
Right.
empty handed. And I'm like, how about if I bring cornbread? Because you think brisket, cornbread, whatever.
Sure.
Okay. Right.
Sure.
So I come with my cast iron pan with the cornbread, and it's not your standard brisket dinner. It's not like barbecue. It was like Asian themed. So here I am with my ghetto white trash cornbread and their fancy, like super delicious brisket with rice and bok choy and the like little wonton soup things. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess this doesn't fit in very well. I wish you would have told me.
You know what? When is cornbread not delicious?
Well, I just don't think it matched the meal theme.
I say au contraire. It did match the meal because of its deliciousness.
Well, it was very delicious, and I came back with zero in the pan. So apparently it went just fine. But at the beginning,
See?
when I first got there, I was mortified.
Oh, see, you put too much pressure on yourself, Jen. I'm sure it was great. I don't really want to ask about this because I'm looking at our rundown for the show today, and here it's got a question mark by this. It says, "Hey, poop talk?" Question mark.
Okay,
Because I've got some poop talk too.
I wanted to bring this up. I just had to, Kurt Cruz. So everybody poops, right?
Right.
Everybody poops. So I'm just going to put this out there. And we think we've talked about this before. This is the question. Do you look at your poop before you flush?
You're supposed to, I think.
I mean, I do every time I look at it, like, because I want to know that it's healthy. And here's why. I started looking at it more when I saw an episode of Dr. Oz way back in the day where
Hmm.
he was talking about what healthy poop looks like. Like it's supposed to be floaty and S curved and like not too hard, but not too soft, blah, blah, blah.
Floaty?
What?
Floaty?
It's supposed to be floaty. Yeah. Yours
Mine
doesn't.
are all sinkers.
Okay, well, I don't know, more fiber in your diet. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, last night, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I just want to know if people look at their poop because Pat, my boyfriend, said he does not look at his poop. But I'm like, honey, I almost took a picture of this. I had the longest, consistent, like no break in it, longest piece of poop. It was so impressive. Like I almost asked him to come look at it. Then I'm like, well, he's downstairs. That's a lot of effort to come look at poop. But it was like from the front of the toilet to the back of the toilet long.
Well, that's what you use social media for. You just go ahead and post that sucker up there. No explanation necessary.
Okay, I can't be the only one that looks at poop, and when there's a long one, you're not impressed with yourself. Come on.
It's the small things, is what you're saying in life too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that is all. That concludes poop talk.
That really? Because mine was just going to be about the amount of poop I've had to pick up in the backyard since getting a puppy. She's a poop machine, man. Nonstop. All right. That's enough poop talk. You're right.
Not really. We're kind of going to a little bit more poop.
Oh, well. This is, and we shouldn't be lighthearted, right?
No, this is not lighthearted.
Former president Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive prostate cancer. I saw this announcement yesterday afternoon, I think. He got the diagnosis on Friday after being seen by doctors for urinary issues. And here's the thing. The aggressiveness of prostate cancers is graded using what's known as a Gleason score. I'm learning about this for the first time. And President Biden's cancer is 9 out of 10. That is not great news. All right. It's spread to his bones, making it harder to treat than localized cancer. But people around Joe Biden are optimistic. His office said the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians. So this is a thoughts and prayers thing, right?
Wow. Yeah,
Hmm.
it is a thoughts and prayers thing. I was reading some other headlines, of course, because the media is crazy depending upon where you go.
Yeah.
And there's some theories about how did he not get diagnosed before now on prostate cancer? Because being a president, you're probably getting checked on these things
Right.
pretty regularly. And prostate cancer for men is like, I equate it to like breast cancer for women. It's just something you get checked for on the
Right.
semi-regular and more regularly as you age. So there's these things like what's the cover up, like what was happening, blah blah blah. But we're not going to get into that part, are we, Curt Cruz?
Well, because it might just be some idiot who shall remain Donald Trump Jr. Went online and said, "How is it that your wife is a doctor and you didn't know you had cancer?" It's like she's not a medical doctor,
I
doofus.
mean, come on, for real. That's like,
Anyway,
oh my God.
all the best to our former president, and hopefully they're correct that he's and Kamala Harris said he is a fighter. Joe is a fighter, and he'll face this challenge with the same strength, resilience, and optimism that have always defined his life and leadership. So, best wishes for that. Hmm.
Katy Perry is no longer wanted in Las Vegas.
Well, that's the headline. A little misleading, I guess. You may have heard, and we know this because I believe we gave away tickets for this back in our radio
We
days.
did. We did.
Um, Katy Perry had a 3-year residency at Resorts World in Las Vegas, and apparently it did not go well. In fact, the story here is that it bombed and actually lost Resorts World money. The hotel
Oh,
and casino lost money on having Katy Perry there. The residency, it says, this is from a source. The residency was a disaster for Resorts World, a complete failure.
oh
Originally,
my gosh.
there was a bidding war between Resorts World and Caesars, and Resorts World won, quote unquote, that bidding war, but they're saying Caesars technically lost out, but in the end, they won. The deal is Katy Perry was earning a hefty sum from the residency, between $750,000 and $900,000 a show.
Oh my gosh.
How do you make that back up? Because of the bidding war, that's how much she was getting. The entire run, she underperformed, and Resorts World lost money. There you go. Plus, her most recent album did not do very well either. It was only on the charts for a couple of weeks, and then it went away. So the opposite of Morgan Wallen.
But now she's on tour.
Yep. And the tour is not selling that great either. I mean, I guess that's not fair to say because I don't want to pile on. But yeah, it's I mean the tour I believe is just doing so, and then this news about the Las Vegas residency. I don't know. What do you look back and say? I guess they weren't as much of a big of a deal as we thought, or I don't know.
I don't,
Sometimes things just don't work out.
yeah, let's just go with that, Curt.
Yes.
Sometimes things just don't work out.
Well, for $750,000 a show, you better make sure that they work out,
And
right?
she got to go to space too. So I
That's
think
true.
Katy Perry is the real winner in this.
All right. On to other things. And we asked at the beginning of the show, you had some time to think about it now.
Yeah.
How many times would you say that you check your email daily, Jen?
I mean, now that I don't have a like rate, well, no, that's not true because I work for QSC Fred Meyer, like
Hmm.
on contract work. So actually, I probably check it like, I don't know, 15 times a day because I got to make sure that they don't need anything, and they communicate with me via email.
Right. And let me say, I was actually thinking about this a couple of days ago. It's kind of refreshing to, I mean, I'll turn on my, I'll wake up and the phone comes on and no new emails. It's like, that's pretty incredible that,
Yeah.
it used to be, even when you wake up, there'd be, a half dozen emails from the day before, or whatever. So you said about 15 times. I haven't kept track, but I'd say it's probably about that for me. There's a new poll that they've found. 93% of working adults check our email every day, and 88% check it on vacation as well. And then they had people said, how many times a day do you check it? We had about 20% said that they check their email more than 20 times a day.
28% said,
20 about 20% check
oh,
their email
okay.
more than 20 times a day. 42% said 3 to 5 times a day. About a third said 10 to 20 times, and then 20%, that's a lot of numbers, by the way, but 20 more than 20 times a day does seem like a lot. But if you're a working person that relies on that, you could check your email 60
Oh,
times a day, you
when
know?
I was working, I was on my email all the time. I mean,
Right.
one constant, like that is what I was doing.
So I guess that's what does that, I kind of thought, honestly, that was sort of a low number.
Oh yeah,
That
I do too. I agree. And did you ever check your email on vacation? Because I did when I was working. I feel like I had to because our bosses did when they were on vacation. They set a precedence.
right. Well, I figured I always checked when I was on vacation because I figured if they fired me, I would, they'd put out an email saying, Curt Cruz is no longer with the radio station. So we wish him the best in his future endeavors.
Oh,
But that never happened until April 1st, April Fool's Day of last year.
okay.
So I wove that in there, didn't I? That was bad
Is that
news.
all we need to talk about on this?
I think so. We should play a little bumper here. I like this question.
Yeah, what's something that you tried once and knew immediately it was not for you? That is the question we asked on our Facebook page. I think I posted it on Friday or Saturday morning. I can't remember which. And I love people's answers. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, we started out with suggestions. Somebody had said like running. I tried jogging, didn't like it. Somebody said hot yoga because well, it's hot yoga and too many people passing gas. So your answers were awesome as well. Starting with Carrie, and I would agree with this. Carrie says rollerblading was something that she tried once and decided it wasn't for her. Had one accident and was done. I actually tried rollerblading in my, actually when I was still in Detroit. So it had been like 97, 98. And I was like, nope, not for me. I didn't have what, it's like that sort of, well, you got to bend forward and don't straighten up too much. But, I just didn't have the coordination.
Brittany said snorkeling. My brain cannot compute to breathe in the tube while underwater. And I actually replied to her saying, that's a good one. And I agree. I
Have you
had a
tried snorkeling?
I've tried snorkeling. Snorkeling's easier than scuba diving. Scuba diving, I had a really hard time being fully submerged underwater with my brain saying, it's okay to breathe. You're underwater.
Yeah, I
So
think
you've
that would
got
be
air. Yeah.
bizarre. Amanda says hot air ballooning. I would like to go hot air ballooning, but
Me
maybe
too.
not.
Me too.
Uh, Slell says marriage. I tried it once and decided it wasn't for you. Well, that's fair. Lane did a 10K run and said, not for me.
Jackie said whitewater rafting. She said it's terrifying. Ina also said whitewater rafting. And then Tracy said hot yoga, like we mentioned before.
There's my sister Terry chiming in with fishing, which I guess, if you're an active person, maybe sitting there with a line in the water for 3 or 4 hours is not the most exciting thing. So she doesn't like fishing. And Jody, our friend Jody said scuba diving. So there's another one that said, that would be, yeah, because you think that your brain, your entire life, don't try to breathe underwater.
Oh my gosh. Randy said broccoli. Of
Good
course,
answer.
Randy, in there for the
Fair,
funny. I love it.
fair.
Sierra said snowboarding, and Laurel said crawfish, oysters, and a hurricane drink when I was in New Orleans.
Well, maybe
Nolans.
not that combination, but the hurricane drinks are delicious.
I think so.
Jennifer said, "Hey, early in my career, something I tried once and knew it wasn't for me. Early in my career, it was public speaking, but after training and a lot of practice, no fear now."
That's awesome. Anne said smoking. That's a good one. Melissa said skydiving. Laura said sour apricot beer.
Yeah, that doesn't sound delicious to me. Meh.
Ooh,
Paul Lutefisk, did I say it right?
lutefisk. Lutefisk.
Lutefisk. I didn't even try it. Gelatinous fish, no thanks.
I
Okay.
mean, seriously, I just cannot bring myself to.
Andrea said ranch, sour cream, Alfredo, and milk. Is that
What? Andrea? Seriously?
is that combination make something, or are those four different things that she doesn't like?
Or different things that she's tried once and knew it immediately it wasn't for her.
Huh. All right. Eric took a job as a UPS driver around Christmas. He said, nope, tough job. Tried it once, not going to do it again.
Marilyn said karaoke after drinking tequila. Another whitewater rafting one. Not she did not enjoy it. That was Lauren.
It looks like something I would enjoy, but maybe once you're out there.
It's
Cheryl
scary, I
says
think. Yeah.
snow skiing, nope. And then Jan said marijuana. Tried it once, not for me.
Okay, rounding it out is Phil said ballet, Susie said hiking, she hated it, and
Hmm.
Gary said licorice.
I agree with Gary.
You don't like licorice at all?
Well, are we talking about, does red vines count as licorice? Or is that something different?
I mean, that is licorice.
Okay, that's fine. The black licorice, no.
And you know what I love is like that Aussie licorice. Have you ever had the licorice bites? They're like soft. Those ones are good. And they
The
have different flavors.
okay, does that also
I
count as
think it's
licorice then?
called Aussie. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it
All right.
comes in a bag and it's delicious. That's the way I like licorice. I'm not going to go out of my way for licorice though.
Yeah, me either, certainly. So what's this 10 o'clock p.m. deal with TikTok you were talking about?
Well, TikTok just announced a new feature that will prompt teenagers to stop scrolling and start meditating instead. Now, I want to know how this is going to work, right? Because what teenager is going to be like, oh, okay, TikTok said that I should stop scrolling and I'm going to put down my phone and I'm going to meditate. I mean, is it going to guide them through a meditation? Because no teenager is going to put down their phone and just meditate on their own. Well, I shouldn't say any. That's extreme. I would say most teenagers are not going to do that.
Right. So the TikTok's parent company, which is ByteDance, says they tested out this feature, and again, this so it gets to be 10 o'clock at night. It's going to pop up a little notation there, a little prompt saying, "Hey, guess what? Maybe you should meditate now." So according to ByteDance, they tested the feature with a handful of teenagers, a handful, and only 2% turned the feature off. Now that doesn't mean that the other 98% liked it. You know what I mean?
Well, and I don't understand really how it's going to work, like I said before. So, in response to the public pressure and claims TikTok is melting our children's brains, so they're trying to make it available. Oh, and they're going to try to make it available for adults too, but anyone under 18 will have it turned on by default.
Hmm.
I mean,
Well, it's like
unless they're gonna like we interrupt this, scrolling with a public service announcement, and we're gonna all meditate together. It's how's it even gonna work? I don't know. We'll see. I
well,
hope it does. I mean, it's a nice thought.
it's not unlike the smart watches. I mean, my watch sometimes tells me it's time to stand up,
Do
you
you?
know? Nope. But it tells me I'm supposed to. So at least I know that I'm breaking the rules, right? Hmm.
You get migraines, Curt Cruz?
I do not get migraines. I feel fortunate that I don't,
Me
and I've
either.
I've had bad headaches before, but evidently, unless you've had a migraine, you don't even know.
You don't even know what a headache really is, right?
Right.
So people are swearing by this McDonald's migraine hack, and it's an order that you do at McDonald's to relieve your pain. They say it's an immediate cure, and people on TikTok are trying it and they're saying it's working. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a marketing thing for McDonald's or what, but they're saying
Mm-hmm.
if you order a large Coca-Cola drink and an order of large fries, that it will get rid of your headache or your migraine, I should say, your migraine.
Hmm.
There's a
Okay.
viral video with over 3 million views that shows a girl at the fast food chain. She'd had a headache for like 48 hours and said, I'm going to try this because nothing else is working. She got her large Coke and order of large fries. And I think
Okay.
she got a Diet Coke. I think she got a Diet Coke. They're calling it McDonald's chips and a Diet Coke. Chips meaning fries.
Yeah, it must be from the UK. So, but it doesn't say here the outcome. It basically just says, I'm trying this McDonald's fries and a Diet Coke because I've had a headache for 48 hours. TikTok said it would help. Where's the rest of the story where she says if it did or did not?
Well, that's what I was. So I watched the video and I mean, she's eating the stuff and she's like, yes, it did work. I don't know. It seemed like it worked.
And I agree with you. I wonder who put this. It's a little soapbox moment. It really is just hard to believe anything. And I know that's probably been that way, but for me, recently, because of AI, it's like, oh, what an awesome picture. There's a human being playing with a grizzly bear, or, like that. When you're like, oh, okay, that's probably fake. But these are all posted as if they're real. And sometimes, you'll look in the comments like, what idiot wouldn't know that you can't play with a grizzly bear? It's like, well,
Well, there's a
there's a
picture
picture.
of it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, you know what, Curt?
Hmm.
You're right. It is hard to believe anything that you see, especially on social media, because didn't we just do that whole report where it's like 50% of the stuff that's on there is fake?
Yeah, or
Not
people
real
looking
or
for.
not true. It's like between being not true, totally fake, like all the things, 50%, like 50% of what we
Mhm.
are consuming on social media and what our kids are consuming is not even accurate.
I guess it was only a matter of time, knowing human nature, that it would get to this point. But it's just a little disappointing because you'd like to be able to think, oh, people are using social media to help. Like
Yeah.
if you, Jen, had a great idea, you know what? I'm going to share this because this actually does help cure a migraine or whatever it is. But then you're like, I'm going to put this up here. It says, hey, if you go run 15 miles and then do 3 shots of tequila, it's going to cure your migraine, which I don't think it does, by the way.
You don't? I was just gonna say, I'm trying to think of any of my friends. Our friend Tara, but she's in, where is she now? Palm Springs.
Yeah.
She's the only one that I know of that would get migraines. Riley will get a migraine every once in a while. I'll ask her, my daughter. I'll ask Riley.
But I think Tara does run like 15 miles a day. Maybe she should stop that. Just all right. I don't know about this story. After I put it up here, I thought, oh, this will be some good information to have. But again, it's on the internet, so it has to be accurate, right?
Well,
Foods that should never be reheated in a microwave. I just assumed that this was going to be stuff that if you put in a microwave and reheat it, actually it would be rotten or maybe harmful. But I guess it's a variety of both. Did you know microwaves can cook unevenly, leading to cold spots? This is according to Michigan State University.
yeah, yeah.
These cold spots allow harmful bacteria to survive during the reheating process. That being said, I figured, okay, here's things that can happen to more often than other food items. So what we have here is 5 items that are saying never ever reheat these in a microwave. Starting with hard-boiled eggs, it builds steam within the egg and can lead to an eruption whenever the egg is cut into, or even worse, when you bite into it. So that's just about not scalding yourself with egg matter.
I know, but I'm also trying to figure out why you're heating up a hard-boiled egg.
Some people might like them heated up, I guess.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Foods rich in vitamin C, like broccoli, bell peppers, berries, and leafy greens, when exposed to heat, the vitamin C is destroyed. It's recommended to eat these raw whenever possible.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang
Broccoli, bell
it.
peppers, berries. Well, you don't heat up berries,
Well,
right?
I'm trying to understand the whole berries or leafy greens for that matter. I guess if you've got some cooked
Right.
spinach and you want to reheat it, but I mean, I actually sometimes for speed's sake,
Hmm.
I will put my broccoli in the microwave and cook it. And now I can't do that.
Well, you can do that. It just seems like it's not going to have as much vitamin C in it, but
Well,
it's not going to harm you. That's what this story was a little misleading, I think. So number 3 on this list is chicken. It says food safety wise, reheating chicken is safe, but it won't be yummy. All the moisture evaporates, leaving the chicken with a weird taste and texture. If I'm reheating chicken, just say it's a chicken breast that we had made in the grill a couple of days prior, I always put a little bit of water in the pan too, and that seems to moisturize it back up real good.
I will. Here's what I do, and I do it for like any meat or really anything. I cut it up. I don't heat a big slab of meat. I cut it
Right.
up, spread it out on the plate, and I actually put a wet paper towel on top of it to
There you
keep
go.
the moisture in. But if you cut it up, I believe it helps cook it a little more evenly. Like, you know what, not the out edges are going to be like scalding and burned, and
Right.
the inside is going to be raw still.
Good tip from old Aunt Jen there. Old Aunt Jen. Sorry. The final things on this: the seafood guaranteed to dry it out if you reheat it in the microwave, and also steak. If you microwave steak, it causes an uneven reheat. It will dry out certain spots while other parts remain cold.
Cut
So
it up
maybe,
first. Cut it
yeah,
up first. And
cut it up
seafood
first.
also stinks if you reheat it, but I still do it anyway.
That's true. Maybe you won't be very popular at work if you reheat salmon for lunch, right? So, real quick here, Tom Cruise in the news because Final Reckoning, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning is continuing to do very well around the world. The movie, starring him as Ethan Hunt yet again. Tom Cruise said on the red carpet recently, told the Hollywood Reporter, this is the last go round for Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible. He says, quote, it's the final. It's not called final for nothing. So according to Tom Cruise, Final Reckoning will be the final movie in the Mission Impossible series. However, A couple years ago, Tom Cruise was quoted as saying he was inspired by Harrison Ford, who was 80 at the time, inspired by Harrison Ford's career, and wanted to keep making Mission Impossible films until he was Harrison Ford's age, which would be 80. Then, when the Hollywood Reporter recently asked him about the quote and said if he changed his mind, since Tom Cruise is 62 now, he said, "No, I actually said I'm going to make movies into my 80s. Actually, I'm going to make them into my 100s. I will never stop."
Making Mission Impossible movies or just movies in general?
Well, they asked about the Mission Impossible films, and that was his response. So I don't know.
I mean,
I will
just
never
because it's
stop.
final means nothing. Look at how many tours. This is the final tour, and it's like the welcome back tour and the
That's right, Kiss and The Who. So Tom's like, I will never stop doing action. I will never stop doing drama, comedy films. I'm excited. Just the fact that he thinks he's going to be living into his 100s is something, especially with all of the stunts he does on his own, right?
he'll probably live to be 100. He can afford all the things that you need to
Mm-hmm.
longevity.
And he seems like he takes good care of himself.
Yeah,
He's
for
pretty
sure.
healthy, I think. So.
Absolutely.
This is a fun one, Jen.
I like it, Curt Cruz, and you found it. I like it. The question of the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is the story that goes to the question of the day. The story said, "What is a weird rule you made up and continue to follow?"
And I read that. I read your question, and I'm like, I wonder what this means. I'm just going to wait for him to tell me about it.
Well, it was oddly enough, I thought about this the other day because there, when we're constantly looking for, things to talk about on the show, right? It's a nonstop thing. And I realized that I did something and I wondered if other people did this too. And it actually ended up making this list. So again, the what's a weird rule you made up and continue to follow? If I'm eating, say I'm, you got a meal, let's just say for the sake of argument, it's vegetables or it's potatoes and steak and I don't know, coleslaw or something like that. You've got three things on your plate. I will deliberately eat the last bite will be my favorite thing of those things in the plate. So
100%.
so in your mind, it's like, well, then the taste in my mouth later when I'm burping up things or whatever will be my favorite food.
Yes, my favorite. That whatever I have that's the yummiest on the plate is what I'll save the last bite for
Right.
sure. That's a good one, Curt.
So when they asked people about this, we had some things in here that I would say are more like, OCD things. Like this one said, somebody said, a weird rule I made up. If you need to retie one shoelace, you must retie the other one. If you don't, you'll end up with one shoe that feels too tight and one that's too loose.
I agree. 100%.
Right?
Yep.
And then somebody said, I've got a rule. If you meet somebody, you can't swear in front of them until they swear in front of you.
Puh. Nonsense.
You don't have that one?
I don't have that one.
How about this one? This sounds kind of like a karmic thing. Never use a fake excuse like, I can't go, my grandma is sick. Because if she does get sick, you'll feel like you caused it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
All right. So, this is a cute one.
I just read that one. I like that one a lot. Go.
If I find a penny on the ground and it's not heads up, I turn it heads up so the next person can have a little luck.
I like that one. I also like this one. You can't brag about a random act of kindness. If you tell someone about it, it cancels out the good karma.
Right. So that might be true, actually. As soon as you say, I did something nice for somebody, it's like, oh man, now your karma's gone.
You just do the niceness. You're just kind all the time.
So we are going to have that as our question of the day for the next show, which of course will be on Wednesday. What's a weird rule that you made up and continue to follow? Do you have any other than the food thing?
I got to think about that, actually. I'm sure I have a bunch of them. I need to pay attention. I will be more mindful as I go through my day to see if there's any rules I've made.
Right. Well, because a lot of them you don't even think about probably. It's just been a rule for so long, I mean, like, okay, this is not a rule, but do you do this? If I take milk out of the fridge, I always shake it a couple times. Like, what good does that do to shake the milk, right?
I do shake the milk. That's funny. In case it's like clumps.
I guess so. If there's clumps in it, you shouldn't be drinking the milk. So there's another one. Weird rules you made up and continue to follow. We'll post that, and then you let us know. We rely on you, because you guys are the best.
So yeah, thank you for listening, by the way. Like if you can give us a little thumbs up or hit the heart button, or if you don't already follow the podcast, please do that. And even though I think one of them says subscribe, it doesn't cost any US dollars. It's free.
Okay. You know what? I don't think I even subscribed. I should do that. I should subscribe to our own podcast.
Yes.
Now you made me laugh. I almost choked on my own spit. Thanks a lot,
It
Jen.
would be nice to get some more subscribers. I would like that very much.
Okay.
Tell your friends and family.
As always, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. And we will be back on Wednesday with another great podcast for you.
That's right. We have new episodes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Until Wednesday, make good choices, find joy, spread kindness, and laugh. Because it's soul. Thanks for being here. Have a good day.